What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jenny and I'm that props girl, and I'm all about helping non-professional theatre makers, props designers, hobby crafters and decorators create unique props and decor. Now if you watched my last video, which was my shopping haul for what's that show I'm doing for Frozen Junior, then you guys would have seen that I bought some dowel because I need to make some sort of spears, or I don't know if they're technically spears, but sort of like things that guards would hold. Like, you know, if you see like a suit of armor and they've got like that stick with the bit on the end. Anyways, I don't know what they're called, but I'm making those. And I made them before for Aladdin Junior, and I thought I would show you guys how to make them because they're really, really simple and I think they're really effective, especially if you're doing junior shows. So I am taking you guys on that journey today, and as well at the end, I will also be going through a few other little weapons and things that I use for working on kids shows that I keep in my stockpiles. So just a few little tips and tricks there if you are working with kids or, you know, actors in general, because let's face it, nothing is actor proof. So if you are keen to see that, then stick around. Be sure to smash the like button as it lets me know you want to see more content like this, as well as consider hitting that subscribe button and bell so that you don't miss a single one of my uploads. And with all that said and done, let's jump straight into this video. I've just got home from work, so I'm actually just gonna go get changed because it's ideal painting weather outside because of the fact that it's like breezy outside. It's actually freezing outside as well. Now I'm going to go in with a stain on the dowel, and of course you can paint them as well. I'm going in with a stain because I went in with a stain last time and I don't 100% know why I did. But the thing is that like if you stain it first and then you don't like it, you can always paint it afterwards, but you can't kind of do it the other way around. So I'm going to go in with this walnut stain, and then we will paint the fleur-de-lis as well. Good morning. So it is now the next day and the dowel is now dry. So we're going to go in and paint the little fleur-de-lis in just some gold spray paint. Now I do recommend priming these beforehand. I've already done this. There are lots of different primers out there that you can use. You can use spray-on ones, you can even use Mod Podge. As I said, there's a range that you can use. It's just going to make that paint really stick on there. Alrighty, so I have just got home from work, which is practically the norm for all of my videos at the moment. They filmed across multiple days because I am working multiple jobs and also trying to make props. But these are now done. So I let them be a little bit rustic. If you don't like this, you can totally do a few more coats. I just kind of liked this sort of speckled effect that the spray paint had. So yeah, we're gonna go and glue these in now. Alrighty, so we're going to take our dowel and basically we're just going to pop, I'm going to use a contact adhesive. I'm going to pop the contact adhesive in here and on here, let it get tacky, and then just pop this in the end. So it'll look something like that when it's done. Now, if you do want to know a little bit more about contact adhesives, I did a whole video on different types of glue. And if you want, this is optional, you can also go around here with some hot glue as well. I don't think it's necessary, but if you really wanted to, you could. I also did something similar when I did my medieval Buzine video last year in December, and it was a very similar process then. Alrighty, so these are all done, and you can see we've got the end on our piece of dowel and they're ready to go. So they're quite long and they will stand with our guards. So if I just tilt you up, so this is me like standing, and they kind of come up to like my chest height. So yes, and these are being used for kids, so they'll be quite high on the kids. But yeah, so I find these are really effective for palace guards and that sort of thing, to just sort of stand and hold them, and then also if they need to, they can go like this and all that sort of stuff. As I said, you can paint the dowel any color you like. I really like the stained look. It just gives it a bit more of a rustic sort of regalness, I think, but totally up to you what color you want to do them. But that's how I do these. And now I'll just quickly show you guys the other weapons I typically use. Excuse the fact that we are on my garage floor, but I also promised you a little look at some of the other weapons I tend to use. So ones I tend to have on hold, I really like these. These are plastic shackles and chains to like handcuffs from like medieval sort of time. So they're made of plastic, but they're just really good, as in they're obviously fake, but they look really rustic, and they're great if you're working with kids, and they're pretty durable as well. So I've got quite a few of those. I also have a few of these sorts of swords. I use these in Aladdin, and they're a type of plastic, like there's like air in the middle there, and so they're quite durable, they're quite strong, and they're really great to work with as well. I do recommend, if you are going to be using weapons and that sort of stuff, I don't recommend that you get, even though these work as well, this is more like a thinner, they're obviously like three-dimensional, but they're a bit more flat. And I don't always recommend using these because they tend to be a little bit more flimsy. So I tend to like to spend a little bit more money on knives and swords and all that sort of stuff, just to ensure that you're getting something that's going to last a bit longer. And the same goes for obviously like these knives. They're quite, like you can see, they're really thick. They're not like your standard two-dimensional flat blades. There's quite a lot of space in between both sides, and they're kind of built to last. So yeah, when I'm doing weapons, I always make sure that I get ones, because obviously they've got to withstand like actions like this and potentially like all that sort of stuff. And if they are colliding with like other swords, they've got to be able to withstand that sort of interaction. I also have these. I never know what these are called, but fighting stick things. Anyways, they're really good too. And once again, they're that thicker, strong plastic, and they don't bend very easily, which is also like, that's me putting quite a bit of pressure on it. It's not really bending too much. So yeah, so as I said, if you are needing weapons and that sort of thing, especially things like swords and all that sort of stuff, I recommend getting ones that are durable. I recommend ones that are going to last the long haul. This is the kind of plastic sword that I don't recommend. Like you can already see that that's bent, because this is a two-dimensional one. Like the handle itself is great, but the blade is really, really flimsy. Like you're not fighting anyone with that. Like that's not what you want to see on stage. Like your hero with a sword like that is just going to look ridiculous. You want to have, like, pretend that this is a straight sword, but you want to have one that's going to just go through the air like that. And sure, it may bend a little bit, but not to the extent of this one, because as I said, that's not straight, and that hasn't been bent during a show. That's just actually warped because it is so flimsy. So yeah, some props are worth investing in and other props aren't, and these would be ones that I think are worth investing in. Like, and I say investing, they're not hugely expensive, but they are, you know, it's a little bit of a price point between like this sort of thing, which might be $10, and that is the $12 to $15 mark in Australian dollars. But in the long term, for longevity, if you are doing these sorts of things long term, I think it's well worth the price. Alrighty, so that is it, you guys. Thank you for sticking around, and I'm sure you guys probably would have noticed a little bit of a change in my videos of late, that they are a little bit more all over the place, and that's just because, as I explained in my last video, my life is a bit crazy at the moment, but I'm trying the very best I can to deliver content to you guys in and amongst my jobs that I work, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you did, and stay tuned for more Frozen content and all that sort of stuff. Be sure to smash the like button, as well as consider hitting that subscribe button and bell, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.